When I tell you that this man, Dwayne Herelle Jr., is done out here, I mean capital Done done out here. I mean just that. So unless you watch MMA, you wouldn't know who this guy is. But this guy, he's an MMA fighter, and as far as I know, that's all I know about him until now. We can now add murderer to his resume because this man right here murdered his ex-girlfriend in one of the most brutal ways possible. This man not only stabbed his ex-girlfriend 17 times, but after he did it, he then stuffed her body into a bin. I'm going to go ahead now and read this article coming from The Sun. The 28-year-old is then alleged to have put Irene Torres's body inside of a bin, which he hid in his wardrobe. The New York Post and local TV station WKRN report Herelle is accused of stabbing Irene, aged 24, outside of the house where she lived with her parents in Tennessee on January 29th. Police detectives reportedly revealed that the alleged attack came after an argument between the pair. According to the Daily Mail, Metro Nashville Police Department Detective Derry Baltimore showed security footage of the alleged attack in court. Baltimore said, "I was told while I was standing there with the doctor that she was stabbed in excess of 17 times." After allegedly stabbing Irene, police said Herelle put her body in the boot of his car before driving home and moving her into a bin, which he hid in his wardrobe. Police also said Herelle disposed of Irene's clothes and bag in a nearby bin behind a supermarket. Irene's parents are reported to have checked camera footage from outside their house after realizing she had not come home from work. According to police, they are alleged to have seen Herelle dragging Irene out of the camera frame. So he knew that the camera was there, so he tried to hide himself. But by that time, it already caught him. The couple had reportedly split up a month earlier, and it is claimed Irene's dad drove to Herelle's house to confront him. Herelle is alleged to have initially told Irene's father that she was staying at a hotel before confessing that her body was in his wardrobe. A GoFundMe page was set up by Irene's older sister, Raina Douglas, described her death as a senseless tragedy. Part of it read, "Her generosity will always be remembered. Irene's death is a senseless tragedy." While most 24-year-olds are planning their careers and futures and are optimistic about the world, Irene spent some of the last months of her young life abused, degraded, terrorized, and fearful. According to MMA News, Herelle had an 0-2 record in professional MMA. So he was fairly new. And was already off to a bad start. He hadn't won any fights yet on a professional level. I'm going to say this woman's dad has more patience than me, because it said that he confronted him about his daughter's whereabouts and told her a lie. That's one strike right there. And then confessed to actually killing her. That's strike 2 and 3. At that point, he would have been laid out. Or maybe it's because the dad was like, wait a minute, this is an MMA fighter. He might do with me, but you know what? F that. You took out my child. I'm going to do my best to F you up. And as you can see, like, this guy really doesn't have anything going on his face except some marks, but that could have came from his fights. But that's crazy. And now, mind you, it said that this was his ex-girlfriend. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and pull up a picture of both of them together so you can see what she looks like. Okay, this is her. This is Irene Torres. This is his ex-girlfriend. Now, like I said, the article said ex-girlfriend. And it said they had already split up the month before he did this. My guess is she probably broke off the relationship because it sounds to me like there was some abuse going on. And the fact that he stabbed this woman 17 times and then stuffed her body in a bin lets me know that she was definitely most likely being the one being abused. That is crazy that this is the third or maybe fourth story that I have done in the last month or two where it involved an MMA fighter getting into some kind of altercation with a woman, either someone that they were with or someone they used to be with. And this right here, I believe, is the second one I've spoken on where someone was murdered. Because if you remember, I did one about, I forget his name. He was a former MMA fighter, and he had murdered this woman he was with in Mexico, and right now he's currently facing time in a Mexican jail. Now you have this guy right here who murdered his ex-girlfriend by stabbing her 17 times and stuffing her body in a bin. He is done out here. This is for sure. Most likely, they probably gonna look at murder in the first degree. Most definitely. He's definitely looking at life without the possibility of parole, and he would be more than deserving of it. Like, that is insane. Like, what would make you want to go back and kill your ex? And then another reason why I said it could be murder in the first degree is because this was a month after they split up, which means he could have been planning this. He most likely was planning this whole murder while they were separated. And the only person that didn't see it coming was her.